Welcome to Weekly Meeple Chat, Week 5, and the next game we're going to discuss is Jungle Speed, which is a game that fosters spatial abilities. So you're not a big fan of this game?
Oh, no.
Because it's a speed game, and Julie doesn't like speed games
and
that
it's just matching things very quickly, and I don't do well with that either.
But for someone who's taught gifted and talented for most of his education and career, this is an awesome game to foster spatial abilities, which I'll explain in a little bit here. So let's take a look at the. It came out in 1997. I didn't think it was that long ago.
Wow!
But I do remember getting it as a gifted and talented teacher of the gifted. Geez, probably about 15 years ago.
Really?
Yeah, it's that long ago.
Gosh.
So ages 7 and up, 2 to 8 players, 10 minutes. BGG rating is 6.6 out of 10. I don't know why it's not rated higher.
Because it's hard.
Yeah, but I mean, it's a great speed game. I'd have to look up how Set is rated. By Set Enterprises, which is a game that almost every teacher of the gifted has. And Jungle Speed is another game that they'd probably have in their arsenal as well.
Interesting.
So overall rank over little over 1,000 out of 15,000, but the party rank is 98 out of 485. So that's accurate. Yes, it's a great party game.
Oh, it is. It is a good party game.
So let's take a look at how to play.
Okay, let's do it.
So you have these different shapes, and you can see they match, but there's other shapes that confuse you. So these two match, even though they're different color. And you can see that these two match, but they look like this one a little bit. And you can see here how these two can be confused for this. This can be confused for this.
Yep.
And you can see that's across the board here. Now you have some special cards. If this comes up here, this card, all players must flip up a card at once.
Oh.
This means that instead of trying to match shape, you just have to match color. So if two green are up, those players have to try to grab the totem as quick as possible. And then this means when this comes up, whoever can grab the totem as quick as possible gets rid of their card. So this is a game where you're trying to get rid of your cards to win. So each player, you're going to see in the playback here in a moment, is going to flip up a card. And the deck will be divided out evenly. So one key rule is that you have to flip it out like this.
Oh, right.
The rule, if you flip it towards you like this, you'll see it before other players. So that's one thing that I teach players to do is that you have to teach them how to flip the card properly. And you want them to teach them to do it quickly. Because if they do it too slow, we'll see it before they do. So this player flips here. Let's say I make some piles here. This player goes next. Okay. This player goes next. Now there's not a match yet. So people keep on flipping on top until there's a match. Now, it looks like a match. So let's say this player thought there was a match.
Right.
They grabbed the totem. Well, they made a mistake because they weren't supposed to grab it because there's no match. So they get everybody's card, and it adds to their pile. So they've now added more cards, and remember the object is to get rid of your cards. So this player goes again. So we keep on going. Okay, so there's a match. When there's a match, only these two players are supposed to grab it. So let's say this player grabbed it, and this player grabbed it here at the same time. Well, the tiebreaker rule is whoever has more fingers on it wins the tie. And if there's still a tie, whoever has it grabbed lower wins. So let's say this player to the right grabbed it. He would give this player that card, and it goes underneath their deck. And then it would continue. So let's take a look at the playback.
And it's also important to remember that when you're playing this, you can only have one hand on the table.
Oh, yeah.
The other hand has to be in your lap, or sometimes you might have to sit on your hand if you want to keep moving it. But only one hand can be on the table at all times.
Okay, so notice the special card came up, and I grabbed it before everybody else, so I got rid of my card.
Oh, gosh.
Now, Brandon thought there was a match.
Right.
There was not. So he had to take every card, including the card in the middle here, because he made a mistake. He thought it was a match. So he adds it to his pile.
And you don't shuffle them, if I remember it right.
No, you
just
do
stick
not
them
shuffle
underneath.
them.
Right.
So, okay, I'm the next player in turn. So again, we keep on flipping. We're keeping an eye on things. And again, I have a disadvantage of this because I played this probably for 5 years with students ages 1st grade to 6th grade weekly. So with my own students, I would take more cards, and I would put the totem further away from myself
Oh, there's Duchess.
to give other players an advantage.
And he's also very quick at grabbing it because he's a drummer, and so he's used to being really fast with his hands. And
Yeah, so that's probably one reason why.
that was another disadvantage we all had.
So you flipped that. You flipped it incorrectly there.
Oh, I did. I'm sorry about that. Gosh. We're all kind of slowing down, trying to see if our eyes
Okay.
can.
So Brandon did grab it correctly. Eddie was supposed to go for it, and he didn't see it in time, so he added cards.
Oh,
So what can happen as the game plays is one player like myself will be pretty much done with their stack, so you wait until a match comes up or until someone messes up. So I was able to win there because I grabbed it and got rid of my deck.
oh, so glad that game was over when it was over. It was very painful.
Well, again,
But it was fun because we were with the boys, and
it's not your favorite game.
no, and you guys will see that.
Okay, so here you go. Tell us about it.
All right, quick setup, obviously. It is a good filler game. The special cards can mess with the opponents because if you're not fast enough to see that card, you're just going to, and you're not aware of it or you just don't remember it, that can mess with you. For me, it's very hard to win because I don't like speed games and my brain just can't grasp the shapes fast enough. And so it's also frustrating for me too. But that is just for me personally.
Right. Well, we could do that to make it more fair for someone that has that situation.
Yeah.
We give you less cards, or we put the totem closer to you.
Right.
Even maybe let you use two hands.
Oh, that might.
So
yeah.
there's things you can do to fix that. So it's one of the best speed games. It develops spatial abilities. So in the future, I will go over more about the educational use of games. And this is a game that's awesome to develop spatial reasoning skills that can be used for cognitive ability testing. Nonverbal tests such as the cognitive ability test, the Wechsler, the WISC, and some other tests, the Naglieri or the Woodcock-Johnson or the Raven progressive matrices. So again, that's one of my expertise is in gifted and talented assessment and testing. So more players, the better. It's a quick filler. However, it can cause injury. So let me explain how that happens. So it's like being on a basketball court when you're going for the ball, and someone didn't cut their nails. Or they have jewelry on. It can cut you. This game can do the same thing.
Yes.
So we had to be very careful when playing with people who have long nails, and they'd have to take off their watches or jewelry. So that's something you have to be careful of. But I had to explain to my students, it's not any different than playing basketball
Right.
on the court. It could happen there too. Now, you could put socks on your hands.
But then it'd be hard to flip up the cards.
Well, you have one hand with a sock on, okay, and one hand that flips. So you could do that if you were really concerned. So I did think about that as a teacher.
Goodness.
So let's go over how we rated it. Gee, I bet you rated it really high.
Oh, yeah.
No, you didn't. So 7 is usually willing to play. If I had to do a rating for use in the classroom, I would put it as a 10. But for home use, I'd rate it as a 7.
And I did say 6 because I did play it with the boys and their friends because I was excited for them to be here, put me in the mood to want to play stuff. But I'd say more, since we can't do 0.5s, I would really rate it as a 5.5.
Right. Well, you can do it on Board Game Geek. We just don't do it here.
Oh, okay.
Because it'd be too big of a thing to put on the screen.
Oh, yes, I would. So 5.5.
But again, we can make it easier for you, and we've
Yes.
done that with other speed games.
You have.
So,
And
by
it
the way, we
helps.
only play with this special card.
Right.
I hardly ever play with the other special cards, just because it makes it harder for new players to get it. And so that's something that, in fact, these cards are pretty much brand new. We hardly ever play
Oh, my
with those.
goodness, look at that.
So that's one thing you can do. You can modify the game. So that's Jungle Speed. And we're going to move on to the next game.
Alrighty. Thank you.